Good morning, dear students. Today we have to discuss selection rules of UV and IR because we have completed IR spectroscopy and UV spectroscopy. In the UV spectroscopy, we have already studied the transition between the sigma, sigma star, pi star, and vibration we studied in IR spectroscopy. So then see this one, sigma, sigma star, sigma pi to pi star, n to sigma star. These already we studied in the previous classes. But whenever the sample interact with the matter, the radiation interact with the sample or matter. So what happened here? The all transitions are not allowed, only few rules. So that rules we have to study, especially in IR and UV. So first today we have to discuss, UV, selection rules of UV. Mean the transition are not allowed. All possible transitions are not allowed. But for this certain rules are there. So according to that rules, the quantum theory imposes an electronic transition, so which are allowed or which are forbidden. So we have to highlight some intensity of transition. That intensity is directly proportional to the probability of transition. In this, the two things are very important before going to discuss that all rules. When the radiation interact with the matter, the absorption band and intensity, these two are governed by the selection rules. What is that? First one is the position of absorption band, where that radiation passed through the matter, that what type of position, what type of bands, what type of absorption occur, and how much intensity is there. That is most important. So there are 6 rules in ultraviolet spectroscopy. They are energy requirement, probability of interaction, spin selection rule, symmetry of ground and excited state, angular momentum rule, and only one electron transition is allowed. These 6 rules are very important to study the ultraviolet spectrum. The first we have to see the energy requirement. And that the two things are the position of absorption band and intensity. That two things. Here the position of absorption band mean that absorption band corresponding to the wavelength of the radiation. When the radiation falls on the matter or interact with the matter, so how much of absorption takes place, and that absorption band corresponds to what type of wavelength and where it is the wavelength. So absorption is exactly corresponding to the wavelength. So for this, that radiation contains photons and energy. So that energy required for the electron fission, mean the matter absorb the radiation. The absorption taking the absorption means that radiation mean energy. That energy taking the molecules and electronic transition takes place. What are the electronic transition? Sigma to sigma star, sigma to pi star, n to pi star. That type of transition occurred when energy is taken from the radiation, when radiation interact with the matter. That is very stability. Mean, so how much energy? We know that the general equation lambda is equal to hc by delta E, or delta E is equal to hc by lambda. Mean delta is the energy difference between the two, delta. So E is the total energy, and h is the Planck constant, and c is the light radiation, and lambda is the wavelength. We know that nu is equal to c by lambda, frequency is equal to light by wavelength, that will come, and now delta E is equal to Planck's constant multiplied with the frequency. So that means the radiation, when how much of absorption taken by the matter, so that is the energy, that how much of energy required. That is the first rule. The first rule is energy requirement. Now the second rule is probability of interaction. The probability of interaction between radiant energy and absorbing system, that's depend upon the molar absorptivity. And that energy is always depend upon the transition probability and area of absorbing system. Mean when the radiation containing the photons, when the radiation hit to the matter, so that is the area. Mean the energy equal to the constant value 0.87 into 10 power 20 into PA. P equal to transition probability, and A equal to area absorbing system, where photon it's. If the P maximum, E maximum, the energy is maximum is greater than the 10 power 4, it gives the intensity band. So when this intensity band mean, we can understand that the transition is allowed. Mean the transition allowed when the E value is the PE maximum value is greater than 10 power 4. If the P maximum value is less than the 10 power 3, it gives the less intensity. Mean here in the less intensity there is no transition takes place. Mean it is a forbidden transition. Mean transition are not occur when PE maximum is less than 10 power 3. So definitely it should be value how much? P value PE maximum 10 power 4. Then only the transition occur. Mean transition are allowed. This is called the probability of interaction. And third one is the spin selection rule. Here we know according to spin quantum theory, according to spin multiplicity, we know that electron transition takes place between the states of the spin multiplicity. What type of multiplicity are there? In an orbital, the singlet, the coupled with the singlet, but not singlet to triplet. The singlet is multiplied with the singlet, and triplet multiplied with the triplet, but not singlet or triplet singlet. So it must be either singlet or triplet. Mean same spin multiplicity, but not different multiplicity. So if different multiplicity is there, that transition is not taking place. Mean it's a forbidden transmission. Only same spin multiplicity, then transition is allowed. Where different spin multiplicity is there, that mean transitions are not allowed. This is the forbidden. Okay, this is about the spin selection rule. And fourth one is the symmetry of ground and excited state. Here, ground and excited state. We know that when the valence electrons, if p orbital containing one electron, s orbital containing the two electrons, when you have to give the exact, this is the ground state, when you have to give the some energy to that orbitals, then one s electron transferred into the p orbital, this is called the excited state. Mean the electronic transition takes place in both ground and excited state. The electron either ground state and or excited state, mean both. So transition occurs in both the excited and ground state, and it must be symmetric. The wave function cannot be asymmetric, it must be symmetric. The wave function must be symmetric. This is the symmetric of ground and excited state. And fifth one is the change in angular momentum must be within 1 unit. The angular momentum must be within 1 unit, either plus or minus 1. Thus, in order to electronic transition takes place by the absorption of radiation. The electronic transition occur when absorb the radiation. The radiation interact with the matter, then only transitions takes place. Means the absorption radiation. The transition momentum integral must be non-zero. The integral must be non-zero. The sixth one is only one electronic transition is allowed. Mean in an atom, when the transition occurs by the valence electrons, the transitions occur only one electron from lower energy state to higher energy state by the absorption of UV or visible radiations. So when one electron is there, the absorption is a more intensity bond is absorbed. The radiation, the visible radiation or UV radiation interact with the matter, that matter containing the only one electron, that gives the more intensive band. Being the matter, when those matter containing the one electron, that gives the more intensive band. But the matter containing the two or more than the electron, or transition involving two or more than the two electrons are forbidden. That gives a less intensity band. Sometimes it will not detect, sometimes detect, but less intensity. So it is also forbidden. Mean that only one electron, the valence electron, gives a more intensity band. So this is the one electron. So how many is there? Totally 6. One electron, only one electron transition is allowed. Angular momentum rule, symmetry of ground and excited state, spin selection rule, probability of interaction, and energy requirement. So these 6 rules for the absorption of the UV. Mean these are the selection rules. Without that ultraviolet spectrum will not come out. So we have to read, for sometimes university may ask what are the selection rules of UV spectrum and explain. So you have to write all the 6 selection rules of UV. Now selection rules of IR, infrared spectroscopy. So in IR also some selection rules are there. Here in infrared mean the vibration, particular vibration to be infrared, some are active or some are inactive. Mean that must be changed in the dipole momentum of the molecule during the vibration. Must be changed. It must be changed in the dipole momentum of the molecule. dipole moment during the vibration. When the matter is interacting with the radiation or infrared radiation, the vibration takes place. What type of vibrations we know? So that must be changed the dipole moment of the molecule. So in other words, we can say that the dipole momentum must not be zero. Point number one is, rule number one is what? The transition dipole moment must not be zero. Must not be zero. That is the one rule. Only one rule. And the second rule is homonuclear diatomic molecules are inactive. What are the homonuclear molecules? Hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen. So these are all homonuclear diatomic molecules. Why? We know that dipole momentum of this, there is no dipole momentum of these molecules. Because H2, there is a HO, there is no dipole momentum. So some dipole momentum must be there. So these are the inactive in IR spectrum. They do not have dipole momentum to start and during the vibrations. So all these molecules having the zero dipole. But in IR spectra, what is the transition dipole momentum? Must not be zero. This is the second rule. But the heteronuclear diatomic molecules such as carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxide are active in IR. Why? Because CO is a symmetrical polyatomic, like CO2 is a symmetrical molecule. CO and NO is the diatomic molecule. CO and NO are active because these are having some dipole. Homo they are not having, but here heteronuclear diatomic molecules like carbon monoxide and nitrogen oxide are active because the reason these are having some dipole moment. In some polyatomic molecules like carbon dioxide, CO2, it is a symmetrical polyatomic molecule. The symmetrical stretching vibration is infrared inactive. Infrared inactive. Where is the asymmetric stretching vibration is IR active. Means symmetrical stretching already we studied in stretching vibration. Symmetrical stretching, asymmetrical stretching. So symmetrical stretching vibrations will not give the IR spectrum. These are the IR inactive because symmetrical. So a best example is the polycompound CO2 triatomic molecule. This is an IR inactive because there is an symmetrical compound. It is a symmetrical compound. The delta nu value plus or minus 1 transition can take place between the adjacent vibrational layers, that is 0 to 1 or 1 to 2. And finally, IR spectrum shows the bands rather than the line spectrum due to a coupling of various rotation transition within a given vibrational transition. What are that? The band is always it's a very not like a line spectrum. So it always a coupled. Bands are coming, the various rotation transitions. So this is depend upon the vibrational transition. And this generally the IR spectrum are very complex and many bands are there. So, but some are the fundamental vibration transitions. Some vibrations, fundamental vibrations. Example already we studied CC stretching, CH stretching, and HH stretching. Some it's very complex stretchings. but very clearly we have to know that CO stretching, C double bond O stretching, and NH stretching, like C double bond O appear at 1721, and NH2 OH stretching, OH oxygen and hydrogen stretching, it is appeared at 3300 centimeters. Carbonyl compound C double bond, and CN stretching is there, nitrile 21,000 centimeters it appears. So these are this spectrum is very complex. We have to remember all these things. So that complex study is there. Depend upon that vibration peaks will the bands is converted into the vibration peaks we can see in the IR spectrum. Okay. So today we have discussed the selection rules of IR as well as UV spectroscopy. Thank you very much.